Our primary goal here today is to educate. We want everybody to have fun. We love seeing the smiles, and we want you to leave here, thinking well of the day. But our primary focus, you're really here to get some education, an introduction into firearms. And with that, I'd like to talk to you just for a few minutes on this particular gun right here. This is what's generically referred to as the AR-15 rifle, which I'm sure you've all heard plenty about and have read about in recent year. Of all the firearms that are represented here today, none have been more maligned and misunderstood than this one right here. So that's why I'd like to single this one out and talk about it and debunk a lot of the untruths and a lot of the myths that are consistently being regurgitated by people that don't know enough about the subject or by the media in general. First of all, there's nothing new or revolutionary about this rifle. This rifle, this platform, this design is over 50 years old. The rifle just before it, the AR-10, was actually in the late 50s. The AR-15 came out shortly after that in the early 60s. So it's nothing new that I'm holding in my hand. The name AR-15, I've actually heard people in the news say that it stood for assault rifle. That's completely untrue. The company that originally designed this rifle was Armalite Industries out of California. They then sold the patent to Colt Firearms right here in Connecticut. So I know it doesn't sound glamorous or anything, but AR-15 simply stands for Armalite Rifle Model Number 15. Not too sensational, I know, as assault rifle. Actually, the term assault rifle wasn't even in common vernacular back in the 60s. That's something that kind of came into vogue decades later in the late 80s, early 90s. So the other thing I just want to tell you about this gun is it's immensely popular. It is the best-selling rifle in the country. It is literally the most commonly purchased rifle in the entire United States. So some people jokingly say AR stands for America's rifle. The gun itself is made, the platform itself is very, very user-friendly. For those of you that have never shot one before, I strongly urge you to try it today. Don't take my word for it that, this gun should not be banned, and don't take other talking heads' words for it that you might see on the news about the benefits of banning these rifles. They're here for you today so that you can make up your own mind. Give them a try, have an open mind about it, and make up your own decision whether or not, where you fall on the topic of this rifle and gun control. The gun itself has been around for quite a while. Back in a little quick back history on this gun and state law. Back in 1994, the state of Connecticut passed what was called an assault weapon ban, banning this rifle. Actually, banning it by name and banning specific external cosmetic features on this rifle. One of the things that wise minds under the Gold Dome in Hartford said was that having an adjustable stock was evil and verboten, and we should not have that. This stock simply moves about 3 inches back and forth. It works the same as your driver's seat in your car, where you're able to adjust it backwards and forwards a little bit to help you use that tool in a better, safer manner. You can see better, you can reach the controls better. It allows you to be a better, safer driver. This is the same concept behind this stock being slightly adjustable. We're all of different statures and sizes. This way it can accommodate a variety of people with different builds. That's all there is to it. The other evil feature I want to point out was a bayonet lug. Okay? They said that it was bad for us to have a bayonet lug, although there hasn't been anyone bayoneted since the Korean War, and we never heard about drive-by bayoneting. However, I could have a rifle that could shoot several hundred yards, but I can't have a knife. So I could not have the bayonet lug on the gun. The other thing that I want to point out is the device on the end of the barrel. This is called a flash hider. And what it does is it does not completely eliminate the muzzle flash or the little fireball that you see, but it does minimize it, making it more user-friendly to the shooter. Because in a low light situation, your eyes aren't, your pupils are dilating. This way you could accustom to the light quicker because the flash is smaller. So what we had to do, gun manufacturers had to do, and it's not a loophole, it's called complying with the law. It's called doing what's right and doing what's legal, is they made what was called a post-ban rifle, meaning rifles that were manufactured after the 1994 law went into effect. So there was a fixed stock, can't move the stock at all. They milled off the bayonet lug, so now I can't put a knife on my rifle. And they put a device on the end called a muzzle brake. And what this does is it helps reduce, it redirects the gases that are exiting from the end of the barrel and helps reduce the rise that the barrel will do, the muzzle flip that will incur. This is a double-edged sword. In order for this to do its function, its job, as I just described, well, one of the caveats to that is that it also enhances the sound signature. So it makes the gun louder. So the gun does have a good bark to it, I'll admit that. And I strongly suggest that you wear the conventional muffs, not just the foam inserts, when you do shoot this. But if the gun is kind of loud, please don't blame us, please don't blame the rifle. Again, the wise people under the Gold Dome in Hartford dictated this. Now, Sandy Hook happened, December 2012, and the entire political landscape changed. And this rifle obviously got all the headlines and was the high-profile topic of that gun debate. You've heard the gun being referred to as a high-powered rifle. I just want to show you that this is the cartridge that it shoots. This is called a .223 caliber cartridge. It is a bona fide rifle cartridge, but when you compare it to the variety of rifle cartridges that are out there, this is actually way down at the bottom when it comes to size and performance. As a matter of fact, this cartridge is too weak and anemic to legally hunt deer with in the state of Connecticut. This is the minimum size caliber that you can legally hunt deer with in the state of Connecticut. This is a .243 Winchester, and believe me, they get a lot larger than that. And that's the size difference. Let me see if I can do this. That's the size difference between the two. Quite a substantial size difference. Okay, so the myth of it being a high-powered rifle is quite false. The other thing that I'd like to discuss, and the last thing that I'd like to discuss, because believe me, I could go on all day, but I promise I'd be brief, is the magazine, because this also, we're affected by this as well. A lot of people call this a high-capacity magazine, and again, please don't buy into that verbiage. This is actually a standard capacity magazine. It holds 30 rounds. It too is 50 years old. This is the standard that came with that gun. I see a large variety of automobiles out there. I'm sure some of you drove here in vehicles that have a gas tank that could hold more than 10 gallons. You could hold 20 gallons. That's not a high-capacity gas tank. That is just a standard capacity gas tank for that car, for that vehicle. It's the same logic. That's it. I promise to keep this short. I could go on a lot about this, but does anyone have any questions or comments? Yes.
Talk about the difference between a clip and a magazine, because nobody seems to get that right either.
Sure. The question was the difference between clip and magazine. Magazine is a French word. It goes back at least to our colonial days. Magazine was, or they also called a keg house. Back in colonial times, on the outskirts of town, there would be a big stone building where they held all the ball and the powder. That was the keg house, or the French word for it, magazine. So magazine is ammunition storage device. This is a box magazine means that the ammunition is fully enclosed within the housing of the magazine. A clip, like I don't have one, but an N-block clip is the most common one for an M1 Garand, is where the ammunition is more exposed. A subtle difference between the two, but they're both ammunition feeding devices. Any other, good question. Any other questions or comments? I promise you, was that quick enough?
That was good.
Did
Just
I-
talk about the fact that pre-ban rifles are still lawful here in Connecticut.
Yes. When they wrote the law, this newest law, because there's so many of them, the newest, latest one, there's an exemption in there for pre-ban rifles. So, again, I'm trying to follow the logic, and I'm having a difficult time as with most of the populace because we have common sense. I am now banned. I can keep this. This is mine because it was registered and I owned it before the law went into effect. But I, never having done anything wrong, yet I am prohibited by state law from going out and buying another one if I wanted to, with my hard-earned money. I cannot. However, if I wish to, I can purchase what is a pre-ban. So post-ban was after the '94 ban. Pre-ban means one that was manufactured prior to the '94 ban, September of '94 to be specific. So I can own a pre-ban rifle and not do any paperwork on it whatsoever, but yet I'm prohibited from getting a post-ban rifle where I would do paperwork on it. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is my logic. And again, I can't get too political because this isn't the right venue for it. But I'm easily capable of doing that. The only connection you could make between Adam Lanza and myself is that I happen to have the same rifle that he had. Period. That's it. So let's take that logic and use it in another scenario. And I use automobiles a lot for my analogies. Someone that you've never met in your life gets arrested for drunk driving. Your driving privileges get reduced solely based on the fact that you got the same kind of car. That's the way. And unless someone can correct me on that, that's the logic that was used. So did I answer your question? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
One more thing, talk about,
I'm sorry.
talk about the versatility. How you
Yes.
can change uppers and you can do whatever you want.
Fantastic point.
because They love to talk about how you can't hunt with it.
You can. One of the reasons why this rifle is so immensely popular is because of its modular design. If you can see, there's simply two pins, 1, 2. You push out those two pins and this rifle breaks in half. There's an upper half and a lower half. I could make this virtually any caliber under the sun. This one is a 22 caliber, the one that I'm holding. This is a dedicated 22. That one is 223. I have, I'm just throwing numbers out at you, I know, but I have 7.62 by 39, 9 millimeter, et cetera, et cetera. So by just purchasing one rifle, you can have a variety and a vast array of various calibers and enjoy and shoot that rifle. It's extremely versatile. It's extremely lightweight. It's very well balanced. I assume I can still do this, but it's the only rifle that'll stand up on its own, and mine will almost
It's the
do it.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I had a flat table, so it's beautifully balanced. The recoil, I did mention the sound of the report, and I don't want you to get a little apprehensive about that, because believe it or not, the recoil is very soft and very gentle. You almost don't even notice it. It's a gas-operated system. The barrel, the bore axis is right here, and look, a perfect straight linear line that goes right into your shoulder. So the rifle just gently pushes straight back. It's a very comfortable gun to shoot. Men shoot it, women shoot it, youngsters shoot it. They compete at Camp Perry, Ohio, which is the most prestigious shooting event in the country. The best of the best. Civilian, military, and law enforcement all compete there. And the rifle, hands down, that dominates those matches is the AR-15.
Just hold it next to the one next to Jeff over there to show the difference in how you can make the changes. Right next to Jeff Moore.
I could just push the... Which one?
Now, do you want this one?
Yeah, if you want to pop the pins on that, go ahead. It just comes right. And while he's doing that, while Ben Shim is doing that, oh, this is the end block clip. God bless you. You asked before, magazine and clip. These are magazines, okay? Box magazine. This is the end block clip. And this is how the bullets would be in the magazine, the ammunition would be in the end block clip. Let me stand in the sun. The end block clip. See how it's exposed? And the clip is just holding it? And in here it'll be fully enclosed. Excellent. What are you doing with $1,000? Cool. Cool for you.
I brought my
Thank you for doing
brought
that.
my toys with me.
The other, oh, beautiful. Thank you. Why don't you show them? It's your gun. All right. The other thing, thank you, Ben. And that's basically how it splits in half. 2 pins, bing, bing, and it comes an upper half and a lower half. Now, if I want to change calibers, I simply change this part out. But I keep this and just snap it right back on. And I have like a whole new gun, a whole different gun. It's a phenomenal design. It's a very modular design, very easy to work with. It's very easy to shoot. And when you put all of those things together, you end up having something that's widely popular and very well respected by virtually everyone in the country. The other thing I want to mention moving forward, if anyone here is interested in moving forward and getting a gun or getting your pistol permit or being a gun owner, or if anyone here is already a gun owner, and I strongly recommend that you do get some training. Just going out and buying a piano doesn't make you a musician. You need to take some lessons, and you need to practice. And that's really true with firearms, whether it be, handguns, rifles, what have you. But we're thrilled that you're here. I strongly urge you to come back to Metacon. Let us be your home away from home. We have many activities here. The door is always open. And if you want to move forward with this, there's a right way and a wrong way, just like everything else.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you.
All right, Art.
Just announced not to shoot at the steel with the center fire rifle.
Yes, I'm going to do that right now. Ladies, you'll see that there are 4 steel brackets here. 2 that have rectangular steel targets, 2 that have round steel targets. Only shoot at those steel targets with handguns. Only shoot at them with handguns. If you want to shoot at steel targets with rifles, we're happy to encourage you to do that. They are 100 yards away, right in front of the berm, and you can shoot at the one that is most directly in your line. They make a nice ping when you hit them, and it's very satisfying to hit them. But these are not rifle-rated steel. If you shoot at these with an AR, it will go right through it, and we will not be happy. So please, these 4 steel targets only shoot at with handguns. All right, we're gonna make the range hot in about 5 minutes. So, June, where do they go?
Actually, we're going to keep the same routine and just circulate people through. We have a lot of very nice high caliber handguns for people to try,
Okay.
as well as the
So no, we can
rifles.
go anywhere we want.
So whatever station you were at before lunch,
Teams and pick up where you.
whatever station you were at before lunch, move 1 station to that
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
Okay.
So 1 station to that right.
Happen to be right where I'm supposed to be.
No, no. No smoking, no.